What's up, man? John Mark, good to meet you. I wonder, you being a new media reporter and that you indulge so heavily in Twitter and Facebook, I wonder, you talked about earning the trust and respect of your colleagues within the building. Did you come across, or do you still come across, maybe some kind of tension from older media professionals and maybe people in general?
Never.
Right. And if you do, is that a byproduct of maybe them not understanding social media and the way things are going because they didn't have to grow up with it, or is it them not wanting to understand?
That's interesting. I'll probably be too candid about the answer to that. But I won't hold back. I think the answer is that, yes, there was a little bit of ageism when I got to the Times. I was 21, and I expected it. But there was a lot less than I expected. There was ambivalence, but not really condescension. There was, there was that kid. But it wasn't as if they were trying to get rid of me. It was just, he's just there. The only thing I notice is I get a lot of jokes about movies I've never seen. TV shows I've never heard of. And one day I impressed the editor-in-chief by mentioning a TV show. You guys got to help me out with this. There's a TV show in the 50s that imagined 3D television. What show was that? I don't want to embarrass anybody who seems old enough to remember. But there was a TV show, and my editor told me about it, and I put it in the lead of my story. The editor of the New York Times walks by the next day and says, "Brian, how did you hear about that TV show?" So there was that kind of comment about my age, but it was never negative so much. It was just not caring. Like, no, we don't really care about that guy. But I did have to put my head down and write a lot of stories and show them I was worth keeping around. Show them I was worth having. I think that was important. And I think young people of all sorts of shades have experienced that these days. But it's not because there's hostility toward new media among older reporters. I think they want to learn. I think we've passed that period of being hostile or fearful of it. It's very much about figuring out how to use it for the best of their abilities. David Carr is a great example of that. David Carr is the media columnist for the New York Times. He's the star of Page One. He he's in his 50s. He's got a wife and a family, and he's a typical middle-aged journalist in that way. And he has embraced Twitter and Facebook to a degree that I'm envious of. He's got like 4 times as many Twitter followers as I do. But he actively asks for advice and help. He wants to know what are best practices. And I think as young people in newsrooms, we have an obligation to help with that. We can be teachers at the same time we're being educated about how to write stories in a certain way and how to report stories in a certain way. We're going to be learning at the same time we're teaching. And that's to be expected in this new media environment, this new media culture.
Hi. I was wondering if you thought that our generation, like the next generation, will see the end of print, like media, as we know it.
I think we're supposed to say no, it's never going to happen. There's some sort of official New York Times answer to that I don't know. I think even the editor of the Times actually has said that it's not impossible to imagine that print would go away, eventually. I think my answer is that print is definitely declining, and companies at the New York Times that depend on print just have to make that happen as slow as possible. A lot of businesses do this. It's managing decline. Television, actually, is all about managing decline. If you think about a channel like NBC, which used to have 20 million viewers a night and now has 5 or 6 million viewers a night. Their job is just to slow that decline from happening. Just make it happen as slow as possible. Same thing is true for print. But it's not the New York Times as a whole, it's just the newspaper. We got to manage the decline of the newspaper as we grow the web.